Today, we're uncovering the secrets behind a small yet essential component of your vehicle, the Tire Pressure Monitoring System, or TPMS. And in this episode, I'm going to show you why and how I installed an aftermarket Direct-Internal TPMS because of its huge advantage over other types of TPMS out there. Here we go. First, let's start with the basics. TPMS is a system that constantly monitors the air pressure inside your tires. Its primary job is to alert you when your tire pressure becomes too low. This alert can be a light on your dashboard, a specific icon, an alarming sound, or even a detailed display showing the exact pressure of each tire. But to truly appreciate a TPMS, we must first be aware of the benefits of properly inflated tires. Decreased tire wear, therefore a longer tread life. Better vehicle handling and reliability. Reduced braking distance, leading to improved driver safety. Increased fuel efficiency, and therefore lower CO2 or carbon emissions. It is thought that only 4% of people drive with all four tires properly inflated. Meanwhile, underinflated tires contribute to 9% of all fatal road accidents and 41% of road accidents resulting in serious injuries. It is also estimated that worldwide, 20 million liters of fuel are burnt unnecessarily each year due to low tire pressure, releasing 2 million tons of CO2 into the atmosphere annually. So what does properly inflated tires mean? In other words, what is the correct tire pressure? Is it 30 psi? 35 psi? Should it fall within a certain range? I'll answer that towards the end of this video. In the meantime, what we do know is that a TPMS helps ensure that your tires are properly inflated, which is crucial for your vehicle's handling, fuel efficiency, and overall safety. Now, whether it's factory installed or aftermarket, there are two main types of TPMS, indirect and direct. Indirect TPMS estimates tire pressure by monitoring the rotational speed of the tires through the sensors on your car's existing anti-lock braking system or ABS. Although cheaper and requires less maintenance, indirect TPMS is less accurate and therefore not as reliable and widely used as direct TPMS. So for the rest of this video, we're just going to focus on direct TPMS. And as the name implies, direct TPMS uses sensors mounted directly on each tire, usually attached to the valve stem. These sensors are in constant contact with the air pressure inside the tire. Each sensor continuously measures the air pressure and even temperature inside each tire and sends this information wirelessly via radio frequency to an onboard computer display for you to see. The onboard computer processes the data from all four tires, and if it detects a significant drop in pressure or an abnormal increase in temperature, it triggers an alarm, alerting you to check your tires immediately. Because it measures the actual air pressure inside a tire, it provides real-time and precise data, ensuring that you are always aware of the exact condition of your tires. For instance, if you're driving and pick up a nail, the system will quickly detect the drop in pressure and alert you, giving you the chance to address the issue before it becomes a serious problem. Now, with direct TPMS comes two common types of sensors: external sensors and internal sensors. External sensors are quick and easy to install and fit directly onto the valve stem, but might arguably be less accurate and more vulnerable to damage, which is exactly what I've experienced and why I decided to make this video in the first place. Let me explain. You see, I purchased my very first TPMS on March 30, 2023 for 749 pesos. This unit worked perfectly for about 6 months until the front right sensor broke down and could no longer be recognized by the onboard computer. Despite troubleshooting efforts like resetting the system, replacing the sensor's button cell batteries, and even switching tire assignments, the sensor remained unresponsive. So I purchased another TPMS on October 19, 2023 for 696 pesos. This one lasted even shorter, about 4 months. Like the first, the front right sensor eventually failed, followed by the rear right sensor a few weeks later. The issue persisted even after trying the usual troubleshooting methods. As such, my experience has shown me twice in a row that the common cause of failure of external TPMS lies in its sensors, specifically where they are located, externally or outside the tires. I reckon that direct contact with the heat of the sun, rainwater, dirt, mud, and puddles easily ruin the internal circuitry of the exposed sensors. Also, you have to twist them off and on the valve stem every time you need to inflate your tires. This frequent physical interaction may contribute to their faster wear and tear. Overall, it has very little to do with the brand or the quality, but more with how external TPMS is set up, impacting its durability. So finally, on March 9, 2024, I opted for a different type of TPMS, one that has internal sensors instead of external. Ironically, it's even more affordable at 500 pesos and is still working perfectly at the sharing of this video 1 year later. While it's too early to judge its longevity, I feel optimistic about this one because of where the sensors are located, inside the tires. And up next, you'll see and understand why an internal TPMS is the superior choice over an external one. The hardest part of setting up a direct internal TPMS is installing its sensors, because they need to be set inside each tire. While you can certainly do it yourself, I found that the easiest and quickest way of doing so is paying your trusted tire dealership to install them for you. They have the manpower, the tools, machinery, and expertise to accomplish the job so much better and faster than I ever could. Now, before I show you the exact installation steps, let me show you the different components of a direct internal TPMS. First, you have the manual, which I've already read, so you don't have to. Then we have the internal sensors, which are properly labeled. This one here is marked LF, which stands for left front. It goes to the left front tire of the vehicle. And if you're wondering, here are all 4 sensors and how they are commonly labeled by wheel position. LF for left front, RF for right front, LR for left rear, and RR for right rear. Oh, and just so we're clear, the frame of reference is when you're seated inside the vehicle, not when you're standing outside facing the vehicle. Also, there are some sets that come with a 5th sensor, labeled SP or S, which goes to the spare tire. Now, there are other labeling methods such as by sensor ID, by frequency, or by color codes. And it depends on where in the world you are located, so I leave it up to you to figure it out. Next, we have the valve stem assemblies, which secure the sensors to the wheels. There are 4 sets of these, but unlike the sensors, these are interchangeable. Let's take a closer look at one. Unlike valve stems for external sensors that are made of rubber, valve stems for internal sensors are typically made of metal and with multiple parts. It includes a rubber gasket or seal and a metal washer which prevent air leaks. It comes with a hex nut that secures the valve stem to the wheel. Of course, there's the valve core which controls airflow in and out of the valve stem. And finally, a valve cap which protects the valve core from dirt, debris, and moisture. Of course, there's the receiver to which all the sensors communicate with, but more on this later. There's also an optional USB power cable to recharge the receiver, an Allen key to tighten screws, and 4 screws to fasten each sensor to a valve assembly. Don't worry, it will all make sense during the installation. Now, here are the installation steps. First, loosen the lug nuts, lift the car, and remove the wheel. Then, deflate the tire completely and separate from the wheel. Now, remove the old valve stem and install the appropriate sensor like so. Secure the valve stem with the hex nut and make sure it's snug. Next, reseat the tire. Inflate it to the recommended pressure. And check for leaks. Okay, if you are installing an internal sensor for the first time, its weight will throw off the wheel balance. So, wheel balancing each tire is necessary by adding or removing adhesive wheel weights or stick-on wheel weights. And finally, mount the wheel back and tighten the lug nuts. Now, we need to drive the car for a few minutes to let the receiver properly detect all the sensors and auto-calibrate. But before we do that, note that I paid my tire dealership a total of 1,500 pesos or 375 pesos per tire. This already includes the labor and materials for the wheel balancing. And for me, this is so worth the time and effort I saved for myself. Okay, let's hit the road and later on, check the data on the receiver display. So after driving a few minutes, the data is in, and the alarm has been intermittently going off. I'll explain why in a minute, but first, let me explain all the information you're looking at, as well as the relevant features of this TPMS receiver. Right here is the battery icon, and the progress bar moves while the receiver is charging. But charged by what? Well, the sun, whenever there's enough solar power hitting the solar panel on top of the unit. Remember earlier I showed you the optional USB charging cable? Well, I seldom use it because the solar panel is enough to charge the internal battery full. This is a representation of your vehicle facing up, or in practicality, ahead. And this alert icon, together with the incessant beeping, pops up whenever the set thresholds are exceeded. Now, these numbers nearest the vehicle are the actual pressure of each tire. 42 on the left front tire, 44 on the right front, 44 on the left rear, and 42 on the right rear. And the unit of pressure is in PSI, or pounds per square inch, as you can see here. Meanwhile, the yellow numbers are the temperatures of each tire in Celsius. By the way, you can configure the receiver to display in Fahrenheit too. And even for pressure, you can choose between PSI or bars. Now, as I set my desired thresholds later, it's important that you understand what I'm pressing on top to navigate the different menus. We have 3 buttons. The middle one serves as the menu and OK or confirm button. The left button is for decreasing any value, while the right button is for increasing any value. This receiver has 7 menus, and we can access them by long pressing the menu button for 3 seconds. Menu 0 allows you to select the unit of pressure to either PSI or bar. Menu 1 is for selecting the unit of temperature to either Celsius or Fahrenheit. Menu 2 is pH or pressure highest, is for setting the maximum tire pressure threshold. Inversely, Menu 3, PL, is for setting the lowest or minimum tire pressure threshold. Menu 4, TH or temperature highest, is for setting the maximum tire temperature threshold. Menu 5 allows you to reassign sensor positions. This becomes useful when you're rotating your tires or if you're replacing a sensor that's worn out or has become defective. And finally, Menu 6, DEFT or Default, allows you to reset the entire system back to factory settings. Now, any TPMS is only as good as the maximum and minimum threshold values we set. But in order to know what values to enter, I first need to know 2 things: the make and model of my vehicle and the type of tires I'm using. Considering these 2 factors, I have already verified offline that my recommended tire pressure should be 32 PSI. And again, I promise you, I'll share how you can check your own recommended tire pressure at the end of this video. But for now, let me set my maximum tire pressure threshold by going to Menu 2. As a general rule, the maximum threshold should be 20% to 25% higher than the recommended tire pressure. For example, if my recommended pressure is 32 PSI, 25% of that is 8 PSI. Adding that to 32 gives me 40 PSI. So I set my max threshold at 40 PSI. Conversely, the minimum threshold should be 10% lower than the recommended tire pressure. So, if my recommended pressure is 32 PSI, 10% of that is 3.2 PSI. Subtracting from 32 gives me 28.8 psi. But I want to be a bit more conservative here, so I'll set this to 30 psi. And for temperature, the recommended max threshold is 69 degrees Celsius. But I want to be more conservative here too, so I'll set this at 60 degrees Celsius instead. With these settings, I expect the alarm to go off whenever any tire hits 60 degrees Celsius and above, 30 psi and below, or 40 psi and above. And because all the tires have a pressure above 40 psi, the alarm is constantly being triggered. And so, let's go to the nearest gas station to have all the tires properly inflated and see what happens. Now, I asked the attendant to set this digital tire inflator to 35 psi. I know, my recommended tire pressure is 32 psi, but that's for cold tires. Since I've been driving in this hot weather, my tires are warm. So I think 35 psi is okay to account for the temperature difference, which is still safely below my 40 psi max threshold. All I want to do now is test the accuracy of the TPMS. Will it show 35 psi for all the tires? Or at least stay within a ±2 psi margin of error? Because my tire pressure is over 40 psi, the digital inflator will actually release air until it reaches 35 psi. Right rear tire, done. The TPMS reads 35 psi, a perfect match. Now, onto the left rear tire. The machine detects 43 psi. Now dropping, 39, 37, 35, boom. TPMS confirms 35 psi again. That's 2 for 2. Next up, left front tire. The machine hits 35 psi and so does the TPMS, another perfect match. Finally, the right front tire. Starting at 44 psi. Will the TPMS go 4 for 4? Let's find out. Wow, it did. That's fantastic. I'll drive a bit longer to see if the readings change. Okay, after 20 minutes, all tire pressures increased from 35 to 36 psi. Now, this is expected as driving generates friction, producing heat that expands the air inside the tires, raising the pressure. But I bet that if I park the car now and let the tires cool down, the pressure will drop by 3 to 4 psi. At any rate, this TPMS proves to be both accurate and consistently reliable, giving me peace of mind. Aftermarket TPMS is not just for cars. It's also a popular choice for RVs, trailers, and even motorcycles, ensuring that all your vehicles are equipped with the latest in tire safety technology. In summary, internal direct TPMS offers precise, real-time monitoring of your tire pressure, helping you stay safe on the road. While it has a few maintenance considerations, the benefits far outweigh the drawbacks. And I, for one, will never go back to external TPMS. Congratulations on making it to the end of the video. As a special bonus, I'm revealing how to find the perfect tire pressure for your vehicle. Just click the link in the upper right corner, or if you don't see it, check the description below. Drive safe, stay smart, and keep those tires in top shape. This is HanDIYman 007, rolling out.